everyone, and welcome to a game of Warships. Now, first off, today it's not a project direct, and the main reason is I just don't have enough material. I play this game less and less, and a lot of people who used to send me replays have stopped playing or play less. So I'm a bit lacking on content often, and it just wasn't enough today. But anyway, I'm here in my Moines. It's Crash Zone Alpha, tier 10 game, no sub, no carrier. And I have found some destroyers that I'm happily raiding. Of course, my shells are not going where they should, so I'm not getting hits. But what's worse, and what you can't really see here, is I'm actually trying to reverse. Well, technically you can see it, right? You can see that my engine is in full reverse, technically, but I'm not going backwards, because the island has grabbed me. And the frustrating thing is, despite me coming around here forward, I can't go the exactly same way I went forward backward. And I'm spotted and I'm getting destroyed, because the idea was that I just reverse back here. Now I am in concealment briefly. So I have to go forward in the hopes that this will dislodge me and that I can then go backward. But about half of the damage I have taken or more was simply because the island refused to let me go backwards. So Wargaming's big talk about, oh, island's gonna push you away. Oh, you will see where there are islands and where you can or can't go. Well, that was obviously bullshit. But anyway, it only works occasionally. Just like the aiming system, that also only works occasionally. So I haven't been able to do a lot of damage. Part of that was because the shells don't go where you aim them. And I have lost half of my hit points because that island refused to reverse. Let me reverse, even though I could go forward on the exactly same path. So great start, great start. Unfortunately, we've also lost Viper here. But, you know, the game is still going. And maybe we'll have a chance to recover. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have picked this replay if this was all that happened. So there is that. Now I'm being spotted again. This time, obviously, I have some good cover. Because the island should stop those battleships, well, battleship from shooting. There's actually only one on this flank, or at least the only one that we know of. Now I am peeking around the other side of the island this time, maybe it will be less treacherous. And I have a destroyer to shoot it. I don't have a hydro running, but the island will stop most fish, right? I mean, I could sneak one past right into my nose if I'm unlucky. But we'll see. Now I'm using my radar because it's ready again, and the destroyer disappeared in smoke. Interestingly enough, I found another destroyer. I mean, not that surprising, I suppose. I was spotted after the zone is smoked up, so I knew there was something else. Now, as you can see, dispersion is not really my friend here. Let's see if we can get a few shells into the set. Now, going forward here might reacquire the set a little bit, but it's obviously dangerous. The thing is, the set might have torpedoed this way, so I need to keep that in mind. And I'll expose myself to more gunfire if I go forward. Now, the good news is that Duncan is in a position where it can't really do anything. The even better news is, for some reason, the set actually turned around and pushed harder into my radar. It had already briefly escaped, and then I got a little bit closer, and then it was just like, hey, I want myself more of this radar.
The water around us.
Well, you know, yeah, the game mechanics are against me, but at least the enemy team is helping. Then again, I suppose the set was fleeing from what it was finding in the center, right? Maybe it got too close to the Rhone Hydro or whatever, and it was forced to retreat. It was caught in a bad spot, let's put it like that. But good news for me. Bad news for me, this Duncan is getting ever so closer. Now, my own Duncan is running away. I do still have a Shimanto around. Now, the Shimanto is going to be helpful if it lands some fish, otherwise it's not gonna provide a massive burst. I mean, it can help me burn down the Duncan, but burning it down is not gonna let me survive this, right? The Duncan is more than capable of going through my nose, and in this close quarters, it's all about can it get no citadels or not. Now, obviously, it also needs to know that it should shoot my nose, I suppose, but that people do that on instinct, usually. Which means it's going to come down to luck. Our favorite mechanic. I mean, of course, I do kind of know where to aim or how to use armor piercing if it comes to that, if it shows broadside. But I am mostly just relying on the Duncan's shells to not citadel me from my nose. And we've won the first RNG round, and I also set some fires. So we are off to a good start. RNG seems to be in my favor. I've been playing a lot of Warlock in Baldur's Gate 3 lately. Maybe my patron is watching over me. Now, I should aim more with the superstructure, also possibly try some armor piercing. Yeah, that was a better shot by the Duncan. Now I'm aiming for the nose now, right? Because I can most certainly penetrate the nose. The turrets are very... Well, I shouldn't shoot the turrets with high explosive. The superstructure is probably also pretty depleted. Now we go for some armor piercing rounds here in the end, and there we go. Now I have reversed a bit much here, although this destroyer is inside my radar range. Well, hello there. So I survived the Duncan. Mostly just because he didn't get citadels through my nose and I got lucky and I managed to just burn it down for the most part. But there we go. Now we're going to face Cleveland. This game is not looking too bad overall. Oh, is that Cleveland going broadside? It could be juicy. Now, facing this Cleveland, my main concern would be the Cleveland ramming me, I guess. Cleveland nose in doesn't have a lot of... like the turret layout isn't ideal, obviously, for going nose in. So I'm going to outdamage the Cleveland in a nose in duel easily. And as soon as it shows broadside to use more guns, it's gonna get citadeled. So the Cleveland was in a pretty bad spot, despite the fact that I was already so low health. So yeah, that worked quite nicely. Now here is our issue though. I'm out of heals and I don't have a lot of hit points left. But I am alive. I am very much alive. Now overall, ship-wise, it's looking decent, but it's definitely not won just yet. Our main after victory is probably going to be points. Like, we have a massive points lead. We are taking the third camp right now. I can even speed this up a little bit because I'm definitely not... Well, nothing is in range to shoot anyway, but I wouldn't even if I could, because most importantly, we want that camp. We are going to lose A, and we are now equal on ships, right? So this is a position where if you try to win harder too much, you can easily throw it. And I have no intention of doing that. So I'm gonna go to the island here in front of me, right? And then I'm just gonna defend B. C is safe behind me, there is no enemy anywhere close. A is going to be lost, but B is something that we can potentially hold or defend. And then we'll just win on points while trying to have our ships survive. So I can shoot you because the island is covering me now. This is where I obviously have to be careful, because once the Conqueror pushes in far enough, it will spot me over this island, and because island spotting is a bit weird. Like, the problem is it's hard to determine how high an island can be to provide cover from vision, so at which exact point the Conqueror will spot me. Now its turrets are not turned my way, mind you. So if the Conqueror were to spot me, I could easily accelerate and be in cover before the turrets turn my way. That's assuming nobody is shooting me from the backline, but you know, the enemy team is down to 4 ships, the Ibuki is low. I suppose I'd have to be less concerned. At this point it looks like we are doing pretty well here. The Ibuki could have also been an issue if it actually pushed further towards me and then spotted me around this island. But it's on very low health and has been discouraged from coming this way. Now you see I'm getting detected now. So the Conqueror has pushed far enough forward, but I can just go a little bit more behind this island, and I'm fine. The conqueror is very low. I probably should go armor piercing at this point. But we are at 998 points anyway, and there is the win. So, yeah. We've had a pretty bad start, but a decent recovery. So, there is that. And some interesting encounters, I guess. Well, this was a decent Des Moines game. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.